What is up? Welcome to another episode of the Uncomfortable Podcast. I'm your host, Jake Allen, and with me today is Gerken. Gerken is a documentary filmmaker based out of Kansas City, Missouri. I've been following Gerken for a couple years now. We've met, actually never in person, but we've met virtually. We've just been keeping up for the past couple years, kind of following each other's journey. And so it's only right that I've got her on the podcast today. So stoked to dive into this conversation, talk about the life of a creative. But anyways, without further ado, enough from me. Gerken, how you doing today?
I'm doing well, Jake. Thank you so much for having me on the podcast today. I've been, as you said, we've been following each other for a long time, and I love reading your blog and I love supporting you. And this podcast is just another way to do it. And
appreciate you.
Yeah.
Right on. All right. So tell us a little bit more about what you do, and how you sort of got into filmmaking just as a whole.
Oh my gosh, what a story. Well, compared to some other people in the world, I haven't been doing filmmaking for that long, but I made my first short film when I was in 6th grade, and it was one of those, those short films that you make and they're just
right.
Really stupid. You make them with your neighbors, and it's just, whatever, just trying to have some fun. Well, that turned into a career for me. So here we are today.
Let's go.
Yeah, we made this short film, and I had so much fun editing it and I was doing it on my little iPod Touch,
Right.
And I had so much fun editing it that I was like, this is all I want to do for the rest of my life. And I was in 6th grade, so I was like, well, this is probably crazy. I'm literally 11 years old, and I'm like, this is what I'm doing for the rest of my life.
Right.
Well, it turns out that was true. So, that's how I got started into the path of filmmaking. And then from then on, it was finding every single opportunity that I could to create more videos, even if it was just filming stupid stuff on my phone at the time. And in high school, we had a television news program that aired to the students, and I was in that for 2.5 years. And I spent 3 hours a day either aiding or in an actual class in our video production room because I was just so obsessed with it. And then once I got out of high school, I was like, college is not for me. I'm immediately jumping into this craziness that is going full-time in video. And then the world shut down.
Yeah.
But that was kind of my story about how I got to this point, how I got to filmmaking. And I do documentaries now, and I call them documentaries, and they're very it's touchy name, but that's all right.
Right.
I do documentaries for creative people, and I like telling creative people's stories and why they do what they do, because everybody has a why. And that's what I like to tell. I like to tell people's whys, and especially creative people, especially like-minded people. And so that's why I started what is now called Gerken Films for Creatives. And that's kind of what it's turned into. And I'm slowly but surely offering more things for the creative industry. And I'm super excited because some of those are going to be launching very soon. You heard it here first, folks.
Let's go.
But yeah, that's what I do. That's who I am.
For sure. So where do you kind of see, I guess, the future of the, sorry, wow, mine just blanked there. The future of this whole, helping people tell their stories. Where do you see that sort of going, down the road? Where do you want to take it?
Oh, where I want to take it? I want to take it to the friggin' moon and beyond.
Let's go.
I've been told recently by a friend that there is nothing really like this, and especially in my area of Kansas City.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, that's kind of why I invented it. And I don't want to say invented, that's a big word, but that's kind of why I'm doing it. Because there really is not a lot of people like this. And my whole thing was you watch these videos on YouTube of like Peter McKinnon making these dope videos and you wonder like, how did he do that? Well, he did that with a team of people. He did that with his team of people that he has by his side, and they filmed it for him. And I was like, you know what? I could be that person for people. If you see this video and you're like, oh my gosh, I want to make this video, which is where I was when I was starting this whole thing. I was like, you know what? I could be that person. So I became that person, basically. And where do I want to take it? Man, I want to take it. I want to grow, and I want to be successful, and I want to have a team of people that I can call upon and be like, we're going to go help out this creative person, and we're going to go travel with them, and we're going to go film them doing this awesome thing and reaching this huge goal that they have in mind.
Right.
That's what I want to do. Right
on. Yeah, I love that. I think that's, I guess, one reason why we've always like really connected well. That's a lot of my mission with Indie the Uncomfortable, and with all of this is like to help people share their stories. I mean, that's the whole kind of motive behind starting this podcast as a whole, is helping other people share their stories and get their voice out there and get seen.
Yeah.
So I love that. I really connect with that. I actually want to jump back to what you were saying about college, because as you know,
you and I have a very similar experience about college.
Right. And around the same time frame as well. What was sort of I guess, did you ever actually go to college, or did you just decide that wasn't a path you wanted to pursue?
I did go to college.
You did? Okay.
I went to college for exactly 3 months and was like, this is not for me. And there's like, I mean, there's so much more that goes into that, and
of course
you would know exactly. It just, I was telling my family, like, I don't want to go to college. First of all, YouTube is a free university.
Oh my gosh.
That's where I went. I went to the University of YouTube.
Absolutely.
And I was like, I can learn so much by myself because I know what I'm looking for. My professors, the professors and everybody in there, we've all got different styles of filmmaking, and we're all going to end up in different places, but yet we're taking the same classes.
Right.
And it's like some people learn faster than others. And that was always me. I learned super quick, and going to a college for 4 years, that's not quick enough for me. So I'd have to, do all of my learning on the side. And that's basically what I did. I self-taught myself. And I might not be at the level that I want to be now, but I still did it in a matter of 2 years plus a pandemic. So,
Right. No, I mean,
but yeah, I remember telling my family, like, I don't want to do this, and then being forced into that. And that was like, it was a really upsetting moment of my life, but the time that I decided, like, I'm dropping out today no matter what, that was the most freeing and the best day of my entire life.
Yeah. That moment when you really just like take that like control over your life and you stop letting like other people. Yeah. No, I know that feeling well. But no, I definitely agree too with what you're saying about college. And that was how I felt largely too, was just that like, I was like, I don't want to sit here for 4 years. And the other part that frustrated me so much was having to learn things I didn't want to learn. Like, I didn't want to have to learn things like, I was having to take like theater classes and like random classes that was just like stuff I didn't care about. And I mean, nothing against theater, but that wasn't my passion or what I wanted to learn about. And I'm like, I'm spending all this time and crazy amounts of money to learn something that I don't even want to be learning, when there's so many other routes that I could be taking. And 100%. I think that's just what was so frustrating for me. But how was that sort of process for you, as far as when you decided, after you made that decision that day and you said, okay, look, I'm dropping out. This is what I'm doing. I'm taking the reins here. What was sort of the process of going from school to dropping out for you?
That's a great question, because honestly, now that I look back at it, it's all like a blur, because I think it happens so quickly.
Right.
We also have the struggle of like trying to make money, right? And you're kind of excused for 4 years when you're in college. You're like, oh, you're a college student. You don't, you don't really need to make money. You do, but you don't. Um, I am really having a hard time remembering what I did next. I remember the day that I dropped out of college, the day that I went into that admissions office, was like, bye. I went straight to a Starbucks. I sat down with my computer and I just opened it and was like, I can do anything I want to do. I saw, it was almost instant too. I saw on my little, like, what did they call it? Schoology thing or whatever it
Right.
was. The black something. I don't remember what it was called. Whatever we used. And it was like all of my assignments had been erased and all of my syllabuses were gone. And I was like, oh my God, I can do whatever I want to do right now. And so I went on YouTube. I went on the Googles. I basically went all FBI and was like, how do you make money
Right.
being a filmmaker?
Yeah.
And there was a lot of things that I instantly knew. I was like, I don't want to do it. I don't want to go straight to LA and do that stuff. I don't want to go to like New York. I want to stay here in Kansas City because this is my home. This is what I want to do. It's going to be more difficult, possibly, but it's also going to be, I mean, this is where I'm comfortable.
Right.
I know the whole podcast is it's the uncomfortable. However,
Hey, I got you.
I I definitely wanted to stay. I wanted to stay in Kansas City mainly because Kansas City is on the rise, especially in the video form. And I was like, I want to be here for that. And I had shot a wedding for a friend from high school. Their sister got married. And I shot their wedding and I put together this video and I spent like 3 whole days just at my computer editing. And I was so excited to actually do something.
Right.
And then I watched a video on how you can make money doing weddings. And I was like, wait a minute, you can make money from this? Like I can actually film people's weddings for a living?
Right.
And then the gears start turning.
Mm-hmm.
And from then on, it was like, I'm putting together a website, I'm putting together a portfolio. And lo and behold, I ran a successful wedding business for 2 years until that's probably a different topic, but until I left, basically. But yeah, that's kind of how it went. A lot of self-teaching and a lot of just getting out there and actually doing the things that I needed to do to become successful.
Yeah.
And become better.
Yeah. There's a lot of ways I can go with that, but lot to unpack
sorry,
there.
you got a lot.
No, I love it. Yeah, I think that's one of the most powerful things. Like when you realize how much you can teach yourself, like that's one of the biggest benefits of like living in the world we live in today. The resources are insane. And
oh my gosh.
I mean, it's literally like endless amounts of information you can learn. And even still just like taking, like right now I'm taking like an online graphic design course, like just because it's something I wanted to learn. And so like, I'm just doing it. And so it, like, I think a lot of people get the thought in their mind that like, just because someone drops out, because someone makes the decision to leave school, that they don't necessarily want to learn anymore. And I feel like that's like super false, at least, I mean, for me, that's my personal experience. You know, I love learning, but like I was saying earlier, like my frustration was that I was having to learn things I didn't want to learn about. And I feel like now I have the ability to do that. But anyways, that was like a super major rabbit hole tangent, but
yes. Yeah.
But just wanted to say that.
That's what happens when you get Gerken on things. we don't know where we're going.
It's a free flowing conversation, but
I invented a whole brand about it. Like,
love it. And also, just to add on to what you were saying, I mean, I honestly think staying in Kansas City might have actually been the more uncomfortable thing, because the world and like everyone might have been pushing you more towards say like, go to LA, go to, you know, that's the main path that most people would take. But I think staying where you were and just following your intuition and following what you thought was the right move. And I think that's honestly the more uncomfortable decision than doing what everyone else says to do.
Oh good. I stayed true to the podcast.
You did. Absolutely. What sort of caused so you're not doing wedding videos really anymore?
I don't. I only do them for like friends and family. I am doing a wedding for a close friend of mine from high school. So I'm doing her wedding, but other than that, no, I don't really do weddings for clients anymore.
Is there like a specific reason for that, or just not?
Ooh.
Touchy subject?
Yes and no. I mean, a career change like that, especially in a creative industry, is always so weird. Because if you look at like my Instagram, like who I'm following and who's following me, it's all wedding vendors.
Right.
Because when I was trying to get myself out there, Instagram is a way to do that, and it's just, yeah, which is good now because now I have a lot of contacts. I could be like, hey, you want a video? But
sure.
It was like a 6-month long decision because that was a huge thing that I was like, do I really want to do this, or am I just not gearing towards the right stuff that I want to do?
Right.
So I even had the thought of like doing more niching down to more destination and doing elopements, and I was going to go to a whole workshop. And then the final like straw, we'll just go with this one. I was on a call with the guy from the workshop that I was going to go to where he focused on elopements. He's a great guy. It's a great workshop. And we were just talking, and he was asking me about where I wanted to take my business. And I found myself like telling him answers that he didn't really want to hear. He would ask me how I want to use social media, or like, do I want to start blogging? And I would be like, yeah, but I wouldn't blog or use social media about weddings.
Right.
And it kind of made me start thinking like, I don't really think that I like to do weddings. I think I was attracted to the money aspect of it because they do make a lot of money, and they're honestly, truly, you got a lot of job security in weddings because everybody's going to have weddings. Right. But I was just like, you know what? I got, this is going to sound awful. So
you're good.
Excuse it. I got so tired of telling like other people's stories without telling my own that I was just so like drained. Yeah. I was like, I'm telling all of these people's stories, all of these couples' love stories, and I've yet to share anything about my own. And I felt like in a super selfish way, that was like not fair for me to do that. It was not fair for me to do it to them. It's not fair for it to do it to me. And I was like, so as soon as I left weddings, I started my YouTube channel and I started getting more consistent into it. And then I switched gears and thought, well, I love working with other wedding vendors, especially. Let's find something that we can do with that.
Right.
Let's find something that we can gear towards that could help out other creatives, that we can still work with wedding vendors, because those are the people that I really like to work with. I like to work with creative people. And then it was like midnight, 1 a.m, and I was like scrambling to write down all of the thoughts in my head. You know how
Absolutely.
it be.
Been there.
And it's this beautiful thing that has been born, and I am making less money now than I ever was in weddings, but I am so much more happy than I was doing weddings. And that really told me like, you made the right decision to leave.
Well, here's the thing about that is like, you may be making less now, but I honestly like firmly believe that you'll make way more down the road. And whether that's even like actual money or just like general fulfillment, like, but that's going to make you way more down the road than if you just like stuck with doing weddings, because you're eventually going to hit a cap, and like, you're eventually going to hit just this burnout and this, like doing something you don't want to be doing and something that's not right. Like that's how you're going to end up hating your life basically. And I
Yeah.
mean, I felt a
Yeah.
lot of this same thing with my own journey and my own stuff. Because I was doing a lot more media stuff and not as much on Into the Uncomfortable and this sort of thing. For a lot of the same reasons, like money. I didn't want to have another job. I didn't want to have to do anything like that. And so it was just taking up all my time and all my energy. And it was draining. It was exhausting. And it wasn't what I really wanted to be doing. And every few months I just found myself so burnt out and just so frustrated. And I didn't want to like touch a camera. I didn't want to touch any kind of podcasting stuff, anything like that. And then just like, I guess a couple months ago, I started getting back into this a lot more. And I feel so full and I feel so, because it's like what comes naturally. It's like what I want to be doing. And it's what, and obviously like in life, you got to do stuff you don't want to do and you got to, but I guess my part of that right now is like, I'm working part-time at a coffee shop. Like that's not fun. I don't like it, but I would much rather be doing that to help make those extra ends meet and be able to do this. Cause like this isn't paying me anything right now, but financially, but like it's, my mental health has like been so much better. My just overall happiness.
Yeah. Which is the ultimate goal.
Cause like if
you're
sacrificing that for money, like you're losing at the end of the day.
Yes.
I mean, I think like the richest people who aren't actually happy and aren't actually living a fulfilled life. I mean, I would say they're the poor ones, like, you know, cause what good is any of that at the end of the day? When it's all said and done. But anyways, I definitely think that's a big leap into the uncomfortable, to do that, especially financially. It's a stressful thing. It's a tough thing, but I've actually known a lot of people who were in weddings who ended up doing very similar things to you, which is interesting. But I definitely think it's cool that you're following that you're following your gut in that and letting it lead you. But I want to talk a little bit about your Sunday ramble, and maybe you can dive into that a little bit and explain kind of what that is.
Sunday rambles are an absolute mess.
I love it.
The word that I use to describe Sunday rambles and my YouTube channel in general is probably not a word I should say on the podcast, but I invented Sunday rambles because I seriously like talking to a camera. I like talking. I don't know if anyone's gotten this impression yet, but
that's what we're
I
here
like
for.
talking. And exactly. And I made these because I really wanted to do YouTube, but I didn't want to do YouTube how anybody else like wanted me to do YouTube, or was like, I don't even know, like pushing people towards doing YouTube a certain way. I don't like that stuff. You know, I don't like doing that. And so I was like, and I said this in my first Sunday ramble that I ever released. I was like, I just like talking to a camera. I just want to sit here and talk to a camera. And whether people watch it is on them, you know. I wanted to create a YouTube channel that if you want to like actually sit down and watch it, you can, but also it's something that you can have in the background, which is totally fine with me either way, because that's what I do with some of other people's YouTube videos. I just have them on as background noise. You can put my voice on as background noise if you really want to. I don't know. I don't know how much you really want to, but I don't know. I just made Sunday Rambles because I was like, I want to do YouTube, but I don't want to do it a certain way. And I don't want to do it however everybody else is. So let me just do it my way. Let me just sit here and talk to a camera. And
seeing to me, I think like more people will connect with that than if you were like trying to be someone you're not and do something you're not, because of like the authenticity behind it. And even if maybe on the front end, you don't have like, maybe if you're trying to like, I don't know, be someone you're not, do what everyone else says to do, maybe you'll get more on the front end, but long term it's going to trail off because people are going to realize it's not who you really are. But if you're being authentic, you're going to really build like those people that connect with you. And that's what's going to like, you know, take you further in the long run. And that's what's going to just, I don't know, you're going to have more of an impact that way too. I mean, but I mean, at the end of the day, what's more important, like having, you know, a small group of people that really connect with you and that you're really able to grow with, or just having a bunch of people that, you know, is essentially irrelevant. But also want to talk about that documentary you did recently, your most recent one. I'm totally blanking on the name of it right now.
I've filmed a lot of documentaries over the past 2 weeks, so I'm trying to think of the ones that I've actually published. I filmed one of Colorado, and then I filmed one of my girlfriend's diabetes.
The diabetes one. Yeah. What was sort of what was the inspiration behind that? How did that even get its start?
I have been wanting to make a film about her diabetes for the longest time. Even before I got into documentaries, I was like, I just want to make film about your diabetes and your experience. When I started getting into documentaries, one of the first documentaries that I could make, especially for free, would be the person who literally spends 24/7 with me. And I really wanted to tell that story because she has such an interesting experience with it. And every diabetic in the world is different. And I wanted to tell her story so that I could possibly tell others. And that's really, all it is. And I don't know, I wanted to get it into I wanted to make it long enough to be able to tell the story, but I also wanted to make it specifically for her and her experience and have her tell it. And then I just started kind of going, and it was kind of a big mess because I didn't know how to make a documentary at that point, and I learned so much from it, which is the ultimate goal. And I'm so glad that I made it because I think it's pretty awesome.
It's incredible. If you haven't seen it, definitely go check it out. But yeah, what was kind of your biggest lesson that you learned through doing that? You said you learned a lot through it. What?
I'm really bad at sound design.
Well, you can't.
That's probably not the answer you're looking for, but I'm so bad at sound design.
You couldn't tell it by watching the video because it sounds amazing. It looks amazing. What else did you learn through it?
I was gonna say I can give you more deeper answer if you'd like.
I love it.
I also just released a video about this, the top 5 things that I've learned from my documentary, my recent documentary. So if you haven't seen that, go check it out. Little plug there. It's on a YouTube channel. What did I learn? I learned that it was super fun.
I love that.
I learned that I had more fun in that 3-day filming window that we had than I did doing any wedding I've ever done. And I was doing it for free. I was doing it completely on my own dime. I spent more money than I actually made from it, which I didn't even care because I just wanted to make it. And I felt like a filmmaker. I never felt like a filmmaker when I was doing weddings, but making that documentary, I was finally like, I feel like a filmmaker. This is the path I need to be on. And I just made one little 8-minute documentary, and it changed the course of my life, basically.
Talking about, spending more money than you made. I mean, the way I would look at that is you're paying tuition. It's tuition in the university of life. Through that, that showed you this is the right path. This is what I need to be doing. And so that's completely worth the investment in my eyes. But yeah, I love that. Switching gears a little bit, I want to see I want to ask you have you had any negative feedback on your work before, and how did you deal with that?
All of my work, weddings included, really? Or just
as a creative?
Anything really? Well, we get, as much as we don't want it, of course we get negative feedback. I've had negative feedback probably on every single thing that I shot. Oh, let me tell you a story. I don't think I've ever told anyone this story before. I don't even think I've told my own girlfriend this story, but I'm going to tell it here because, yes, on my very first, on my, I think it was my very first video I posted on my YouTube channel that was like something that I was really proud of and something that I wanted to make. There was this comment that said, it's a really nice video if only the video quality was better. That's the exact words too. It's stuck in my brain. I remember it. And I went to the lengths. I stalked them and I looked at their page. No, they're not a filmmaker. No, they're just some random like white suburban mom who just found my page, whatever.
Of course.
Of course. And so from then on, I did like the little like knuckle crack thing, you know, and was like, fine, you want to see better video quality? I'll give you better video quality. I take any negative feedback that I've been given and I just use it. And I turn it into, how can I make this better? How can I use this to make it better? So I literally would type in like to Google, why do my videos look horrible? And from then I learned how to use camera settings, which I didn't know how to use when I filmed that video. And I learned lighting too. And I was like, you know what? People want to see better video quality, which is everyone wants to see better video quality, but I'm trying my best here. I was like, I'll give you better video quality. I'll go out and I'll learn it. And although their opinion like didn't matter at all in the grand scheme of things, that one comment that I got made me go figure out every single aspect of filmmaking that I possibly could to make my videos better.
I love that, actually.
But we're not going to tell that person now. We're not going to tell that person that they won.
I love that mentality, actually. Instead of letting it, it's like the saying, get better, not bitter. So like, instead of like letting that like get you down and be like, oh, I suck, like whatever, be like, okay, well, how can I get better? Like, how can I improve? And
and for the first couple days,
oh, for sure,
that's kind of how it was. I would go back to that comment and I would be like, oh man, that makes me feel like that makes me feel horrible. Right. And then I kind of just like hit myself over the head and was like, why do you feel bad? Like I watched it back and I was like, you know what? This video quality is horrible. They were right. So go out and learn it. Go out and fix it. So I did. Well, I think I did.
I would say so. Looking at your work, I would definitely say so. Not to mention, though, Instagram just loves to just kill video quality. But
isn't that the truest statement
actually,
ever?
Speaking of social media, how do you sort of deal with, because as a creative myself, that's something that I've struggled with, and I know a lot of creatives struggle with this, posting your work and like sharing your work. Is that something that's tough for you, or does that kind of natural?
So if you look at my Instagram page, especially, it's just awful. I will go like months without posting and then come back and be like, hey, everybody, and then go away for another. It's just an endless cycle. I find social media very overwhelming. There's a lot of moving parts, reels and TikToks and video and Instagram, and it's just like, I can't do this. I can't do it. So I try to find time to post my work. And I really like posting thumbnails from my work. I do that often. I just take my favorite little screen grabs and put them into collage and post that. And I was like, here, you can watch the video. It's in my bio. I am more active on Instagram stories than anything else, though. I love Instagram stories. But everything else I just find very overwhelming, and I've tried everything, and I just get to it when I can. You know, it's very much on the back burner for me because I would rather spend more time like actually creating things than posting things and spending time on social media. So, but I just have a weird relationship with social media because I find social media as a way to connect with other people.
Exactly.
I mean, I wouldn't be here without social media.
Right.
I love connecting with other people on social media, and there's There's so
for
many
sure.
cons to
It's a
social
major
media. Let's
love-hate
just get that out
relationship
there
for
now.
sure.
So many cons.
For sure.
Absolutely, absolutely. But there's just those little pros that kind of like.
Right. I mean, there's a reason we all stay on it. There's a reason. So.
Exactly. Yes, there's a reason we all stay. It's because
there's a reason we don't all just delete it today.
As many times as I've thought about it.
Same. Can't lie. Same.
Yeah, I don't post as often as I should, but I like connecting with people on there, and that's, I think, the ultimate goal of social media, for me at least. Maybe not for other people.
So
but.
yeah, I just had an interview. I don't know if it's going to come up before or after this, but whatever. With a guy, he's another filmmaker, and we were talking about social media and how social media should be viewed more as like a tool belt. And I feel like as creatives, it's something that's so shoved down our throats. Is like, you need to be posting every day. You need to be like constantly sharing your work. Like if you want to get more like clients, like you need to be like doing this. And that always overwhelmed me and made me just feel like more stressed out and more resentful towards social media. It made me not want to use it because I was like, I don't like being told what to do. I don't like being told I have to do something. And so, but I think whenever you kind of like flip that view is like, it's just a tool in the tool belt. Yeah. And it's not the whole tool belt itself. And it's like, if other things are working better for you and you're still able to make ends meet, then use social media however you want to. And it's not the like end all be all with, you know, getting more work, getting clients, whatever. And I think so often it's like portrayed as that way. But yeah, no, I love that. I love how, I don't know. I just love how like you're really just blazing your own trail. I think that's really cool. That's something I'm super passionate about. Just like following your gut, following your intuition, and it will pay off in the end. 100%. I fully believe that. What I guess would be some advice to other creatives that are trying to get their start in whatever they do, whether it's filmmaking, whether it's music, whether it's art, whatever. What would like your advice be? I guess it could be filmmaker specifically, whatever you feel.
We'll just go towards creatives in general.
Okay.
This is something I'm still trying to learn myself, so I'm going to try to take my own advice here. Create more than you consume.
Yes.
And do not listen to a single gosh darn thing anybody tells you, unless they're telling you, like, I won't say what you want to hear, but don't listen to anything that anybody tells you, like, to do. Like, don't conform to other people's expectations. That would have been a better way to say it.
No, you're good. You're good. Absolutely.
No, listen to the negative feedback and take it. You know, take it like a man. No, take it like a woman.
There you go.
Take it. Try to turn it into a positive if you can. If you can't, chuck it out the window. Like actually, like just chuck it out the window. Who cares about it? Who cares? Just keep going. Just put your head down, keep going. And then once you're ready, and even when you're not ready, once you're uncomfortable enough to start, pop your head up and just go and don't stop.
All right. Continuing on that, what is your advice for people to keep going? Like, how do you keep going when the going gets tough?
I always saw this thing on Instagram that I thought was so cliche. And it was like, whenever you think, like, whenever you start to like find yourself starting to give up, remember why you started in the first place. And I always thought that was so cliche, like everybody says that, but it kind of is true.
Oh, absolutely.
And for me, it comes back to, I wanted to make myself proud. I don't care about other people's opinions. I wanted to make myself proud, and I wanted to show myself that I can do it. And that's why I started. And if I gave up, what do you think? What do you think my past self's gonna say to me? What do you think?
Right.
She's not gonna start. If you give up now, well, she's not gonna start that. She's just gonna become lazy. No, keep going.
Right. Right.
I started because I wanted to make myself proud. And if I gave up now, that I failed. I failed. So I'm not going to fail. I'm just going to keep going. Remember why you started and use that. Write it on a friggin' big whiteboard if you need to, like tattoo it on your forehead. I don't care. Right. Remember why you started and use that whenever somebody knocks you down, whenever you feel like you've taken one step forward, two steps back. Use why you started to just continue on your blazing path. And I promise you, everything will work out in the end.
Yes. Yeah. No, I'm huge on remembering like your why and knowing that. And I love how you said like write it somewhere where you see it consistently. That's like a tool I've heard a lot of people say. It's very helpful, very useful. Because I think if you forget that, if you don't know that why, if you don't remember why you're doing it, you get caught up in the monotonous day-to-day things. You get caught up in the negative feedback and the criticism, and you let it really get you down. But if you remember why you're doing this and why you're, that's what'll help you keep going and keep pushing you forward. And then another thing too I wanted to say about that was you were talking about failing like yourself. And like what would be the point is if you just gave it all up. And there's an interesting practice. I don't know if you've heard of this before, but I've heard of people saying to write your own eulogy. Or not your eulogy, your obituary. So like what if you were to die today, what would be like in the paper about you tomorrow? And I feel like that's just a good practice to maybe do. I mean, it's kind of scary. It's definitely uncomfortable. It's a weird thing to think about. I think we often forget how easily life could just be over in the blink of an eye. But I think that's a good practice for us to like take in and to like be like, okay, how am I living every day as if it's like my last? Like, how can I go today to impress myself and it's not about leaving like a legacy about like what other people think, but how can I make myself proud? How can I make that like, how can I be someone today that me 5-10 years ago would have been super proud of? And I guess I would also say too, like if you're someone that's like in that place and you feel that maybe you're not making your past self proud, maybe you feel like you'd be letting yourself down, make the change. Like do what you can to make the change. Take that first step today, like turn it around today. And I think if you do that, I think your past self would be proud of you for turning yourself around.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But anyways, once again, rabbit holes, tangents, but that's what we're here for. One other thing too I wanted to make sure we touched on was the difference in like community and collaboration over competition, and how that works in sort of the creative space.
I hate competition. I hate it. I'm a competitive person, don't get me wrong. Like I'll kick your butt in video games, Guitar Hero, whatever. But like
right on.
Filmmaking, photography, media, whatever, well, just why? Just why? Yeah. Like why are you competing with someone? Why are you competing with someone from completely different walks of life from you? Like if I was competing with you, which is just insane to think about. Like if I was competing with you, I don't even know I can't even get into that mindset because I just don't like it. I don't like it at all. Community and collaboration, especially. I mean, look at us. Look at what we're doing. We're not like, I'm not going out to start a podcast just because, Jake's got a podcast. Now I gotta catch up. No, they consider my Sunday Rambles like a podcast. It's just, those are a mess. I don't know, man. I've never liked the idea of creative people like competing with each other because that's just not fair. Like you could be competing with somebody who's like twice your age and who's been doing this for as long as you've been born. it's like, why are you trying to compete with them? Why are you, that's not even going to work. Like they're miles ahead of you. So why do you even care? Why do you even, I would be the type of person to like reach out to them and be like, hey, you want to collab on something? I know like you've been doing this for like as long as I've been alive, but like you want to help a girl out. I would be that person because I just not a competitive person, and I'm not a type of person that's like, oh, you're miles ahead of me, so let me try to catch up. No, I'm gonna do things my own way, and I'm gonna do things how I want to do things. And whatever you're doing, that's great. I'm so happy for you. And I see this all. I try to tell myself this all the time when like Peter McKinnon posts a new video, and I'm like, well, that is good for you. But I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna do my own work.
Absolutely. Well, and going back to what you said a minute ago about like how much more cool it would be like to collaborate with them over competing against them.
Right.
Like even like someone that's, whether it's Peter McKinnon level or, whatever, someone that's been doing this for a lot longer than you, how much more cool in the long run would it be for you to go like be like a PA for that person,
Yeah,
and learn for them and like make those connections? Like how much more is that going to benefit you down the road than you just like trying to be better than them like on your own?
right.
And it's like the saying that says, I don't know who says it, but it says like, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together.
Yes. Yeah.
I think that's one of the biggest things that I've like seen, especially over the last 2 years in my life. It's just whenever I drop that mentality of trying to compete and compare and whatever myself against other people, whenever I drop that instead say like, A, how can I maybe collab with this person? How can I work with this person? And then B, how can I compete against myself to be better than I was yesterday?
Right.
Like
right.
those two things together, I feel like that takes things so much further and it makes it so much more enjoyable. Like the process is so much more fun when you're just,
Yes.
you're trying to get better yourself and you're doing it with people around you that have that same mentality.
Yeah.
You not only will go further and you're going to enjoy the ride so much more. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the journey is going to be so much more enjoyable and fun. And yeah, just that whole ride of just like trying to do everything on your own and with this sense of like competition, viewing everything like a competition and through the lens of comparison.
I couldn't even imagine.
It's such a lonely path. Like
yeah,
it's bitter and it's angry and it's just like holds you back. You're holding yourself back, But I do think like you can still sort of have this like, I guess almost like a wolf mentality of like, run with the herd and surround yourself with a pack of, other wolves, so to speak, that are like riding with you. But don't be afraid to blaze that trail. And
yeah,
kind of what you were saying earlier about like, don't let anybody tell you anything. There's a Drake quote that says,
love it.
I know, I had to go there, but that says, never take advice. That was great advice. And that's not to say that advice is a bad thing, obviously, but you mean no one would be listening to this podcast if advice was a bad thing. But, it's more just to say that like, continue competing against yourself, improving yourself, getting better, but do so. What am I trying to say? Like with the lens of like surrounding yourself with like-minded people that are going to help you and build you up and that also have that same mentality.
Yeah.
And that's, once again, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. But anyways, what's kind of, I guess, on the radar, whatever you want to share for the near future for you?
Like what am I doing next?
Yeah.
Type of deal?
Basically. Like what's going on in your life?
Oh, goodness. These next few weeks, months are going to be busy. Next month, which I don't know when you're going to release this, but the month of April, I'm going out to Arizona to film a documentary for an amazing nonprofit organization. And that's all I'm going to say about that one, because that'll come later.
You just have to stay tuned.
Yesterday I filmed, 2 days ago, I filmed 4 Sunday Rambles. That was a lot. And so I can just, get those out there and just continue to kind of push forward on that. And I'm really looking to like double down on making Sunday Rambles and being consistent on YouTube and social media, and also making documentaries. I got quite a few that I'm got lined up and scheduled to make, and one of them is coming out very soon. So I'm very excited.
Cannot wait. Are you currently taking clients?
Am I currently taking clients?
Yeah.
Yes, I am currently taking clients.
Who would be like your ideal client? Like who could like connect with you?
No, I wrote this down, so let me see if I remember it. A creative business, creative mind, obviously. I really like working with creative people, wedding vendors, photographers, videographers, graphic designers, everything like that.
Sure.
Oh my gosh. Someone who allows me to be my my crazy self. Someone who doesn't take life too seriously.
Love it.
And just wants to tell their story. You just want to get your story on a film.
Right. All right. Well, for those people, how can they connect with you?
You can connect with me in a number of ways. I do have my website that you can connect with. We've got a contact form down there you can fill out. I've also got, Instagram especially. You can DM me. I usually respond to DM. You can DM me. You can send me a message. YouTube, if you really want to, you can comment on a video. You can help the algorithm out, do whatever you want.
What's your YouTube channel again?
My YouTube channel is literally just my name. It's Gerken.
Right on. This will all be linked in the show notes as well, but
Yeah, it's just my name. That's pretty much what it is. And then my Instagram handle is Gerken Created, because apparently Gerken was taken on Instagram, which is rude because that's my name.
Dude, there's a Jake Allen on Instagram that literally has like 5 followers and no posts, and it makes me so mad.
I know. I looked it up one day. I was like, is there really one out there? There's not. I couldn't find it. So I like, give me my name, please.
Oh, well, it is what it is.
Right.
All right. Couple last little questions before we close it out here and wrap it up. What would your advice be to, let's see, how do I say this? To like creatives who maybe don't feel inspired, or like when they don't feel inspired, how do you like get your inspiration? I guess that's kind of a 2-part question, but.
Well, I've always heard that if you sit around and wait for inspiration, you're never going to find it.
Yep.
And that's the same thing goes for like motivation too. Sit around waiting for motivation, it's never going to come.
Right.
I usually get inspired by watching other people's films.
Mm-hmm.
I would go on YouTube and I'll just, if I'm ever in a point where I'm like, I'm just super just in a creative slump, I'll just go on YouTube and I'll just start watching Peter McKinnon videos or Nicholas Crystal or whoever, and it'll just kind of like pump me up a little bit, and I'll just want to go create something, want to go make something. And that's kind of how I like force myself into inspiration, really. It's
right.
It's always there. It's just whether or not I actually want to do something about it.
Right. Oh, I love that. I really like that.
Right. Yeah.
I like that. Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of people like to, I guess maybe we're taught this. I don't know. For some reason, we always think that we need to like sit there and wait for inspiration, and then we can start doing something. And whether that's whether you're creative, whether you're, I don't know, whether you're trying to do whatever, you're not going to feel like that inspiration until you start acting.
Yeah.
And so anyways, but yeah, let's see, another question here for you. What is like the most uncomfortable part for you about like filmmaking? If that makes sense.
Oh my gosh. The most uncomfortable part of filmmaking. Putting it out there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Putting my films out there and putting putting myself out there to be vulnerable and to be open and to be critiqued by the people behind their keyboards, like that's the hardest part. That's the most uncomfortable part. But if you want to go anywhere in life, as you may have heard before, you kind of have to get uncomfortable.
Let's go.
You have to be comfortable being uncomfortable. And exactly. I've kind of gotten into this little like rhythm of, if I find myself being uncomfortable in a situation, if I find myself being like, I don't want to hit publish on this Sunday Ramble because I don't think other people are going to like it, I go and I'll film another Sunday Ramble and I'll just talk to a camera and then I'll go back and I'll hit publish. Because then it's just like I got my mind off of it for a little bit. I didn't even have to think about it. I just got my mind off of it. And I'll go back and I'll look at it. I'll look at the Sunday Ramble title and I just won't even think about it. I'll just click publish. Like, that's it. It's done. It's out there. It's out there. You can't take it back. You just kind of have to, I literally like have to force myself to just get over it.
Right. Well, it's like that shark mentality of just always swimming forward, like not looking back. Like, yeah. Because at the end of the day, like, does it really matter? Like,
right. You know, right. Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Does it really matter?
Yeah.
I mean, on that point too, like, I feel like we always kind of think, I guess, that we're worse than we are. If that makes sense. Like, I can't tell you how many times I've either recorded a podcast, done a video, wrote something, whatever it is, and then been like, man, that sucked. Like, I didn't feel good. And then I'll go back and listen to it and I'll be like, no, it's fine. Or I'll have people like hit me up and be like, yo, this really like resonated with me and impacted me. And like, if I had instead let myself get in my head and not put that out there, that wouldn't have happened. And that wouldn't have made that impact on that person's life. And so, yeah, no, I love that. You just got to keep moving forward. Got to not let yourself get too in your head about it. And it's crazy uncomfortable, but yeah, got to keep moving forward. All right. Last question. So I'm really big on giving people like actionable steps to take to keep moving forward and to dive into the uncomfortable. So for you, I guess over the next week or so, what is like one thing you're going to do to go push yourself into the uncomfortable? Just to put you on the spot a little bit here.
Ooh, now I gotta think.
Yeah, you can totally take a second to think about it.
Well, there's a couple things I want to do. You just want one?
Go for it.
Okay. I am going to work on legalizing my business.
Right on.
Which is a huge step into the uncomfortable. I am going to edit all of these Sunday Rambles and post them no matter what. No matter what I think about them. As you said, somebody out there might need to hear that. And all I'm doing this for is that one person. So I'm going to edit all of them. I'm going to post them. They're going to be posted every Sunday, no matter what. And I'm going to try. No, I'm not even going to say the word try. I'm doing it. I'm going to be consistent on making these Sunday Rambles. Even if I have to film 4 of them at once. Because I know I can do it, because I just did it. Now we'll see if that actually happens, which I really hope it does.
No, you got it. I cannot wait to watch those. I also love that you flipped the word try into just saying, like, I'm going to do it. There's a quote, I think it's from Tim Ferriss in his book, 4 Hour Work Week. I'm pretty sure that's where it's from. Mm-hmm. Don't come at me if I have that wrong. But anyways, the quote essentially says, I'm paraphrasing, but it's along the lines of like saying like, I'll try is planning to fail. And it's like essentially having that in the back of your mind of like, well, I'll try, but I'm probably going to fail. And so I love that you switched that. I love it. I can't wait to watch the Sunday Rambles, to see the new docs you got coming out. Everything you're working on, you inspire me more than you even realize on a regular basis. Love watching your content.
Thank you.
For anyone out there, go check out Gerken's content. It's incredible. Watch your documentaries, watch your Sunday Rambles, subscribe to your YouTube channel, and hit her up. But anyways, thank you so much for joining and having this conversation. This was fun. I could honestly keep going for hours, so we might have to do
Me too, but I'm gonna run out of SD card space.
No, same. We're gonna have to do this again, probably down the road. Recap.
Absolutely. And you're getting on a Sunday Ramble too, whether you want to or not.
Absolutely. Let's do it. Just say when, and I'm ready. But anyways, thank you again for joining. If you're watching this on YouTube, please drop us a subscribe and go subscribe to Gerken once again. And drop a comment with your biggest takeaway. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or one of the other major streaming platforms, if you leave us a rating and review, that helps us out a ton, helps us reach more people, and spread the message of diving into the uncomfortable. Anyways, that's it for this one. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you again, Gerken, for joining us and chatting.
Thank you so much for having me.
The uncomfortable. Any final words before we sign off here?
Subscribe.
Let's go.
Let's go. To Jake, into the uncomfortable.
Well, thank you.
It's good stuff.
Thank you.
It's good stuff.
Appreciate you. All right. Well, that concludes this episode of the Uncomfortable Podcast. Thank you all for tuning in. Until next time, keep on diving.
Take yourself out your comfort zone. If you want to be ordinary, you ain't even got to listen to me.
Comfort is overrated. We've got to get comfortable with being uncomfortable.